Do any of you writers out there, be it professional or hobbyist, have those moments in your stories that have been imagined in your mind since long before you put pen to paper, put your fingers to the keyboard, and that moment in the story will be like 30 chapters in or 10 episodes in or whatever, and you've just been waiting for years to get to the point where you get to write that, and you've got to force your way through all of the necessary stuff to get to this moment that's existed crystallized in your mind since the start. There's a few of those for Sojourn, and one that really was a big deal for me was the and obviously minor spoilers here, the moment in episode 8 rather of season 1, where Meds and Vadric are in the little crawl space on the Gwyn, and Vadric shows her the photo of Tantalus from outside, and it's this kind of perception changing moment for Meds where she said that she'd not really thought to look back as she left, and that's one of two important moments I think of that kind of ilk there, where Vadric provides the sort of breaking of the human cynicism in a way that moves things forward. And the second is when in season 1 episode 12, Cass gives him a piece of advice that's quite heavily inspired by a scene from Stargate: The Ark of Truth, where a scene between Teal'c and Toman. And in the Cass Vadric scene, she basically answers his question on how he can atone for what he's done. And what she gives him is advice that we might, in our cynical human way, consider to be a little bit trite, a little bit superficial. And I don't think Cass wholly believes it either. She certainly doesn't completely live by it. She doesn't consider herself worthy of the comfort that she's holding on to. So she's not giving advice that she completely follows. She's just saying something she thinks might be useful. But Vadric, being outside of the malaise of human cynicism, being in a different frame of reference, he's not going to see anything as being fortune cookie wisdom or whatever. Nobody has ever said anything in this kind of empathetic way to him before, really, and he takes it to heart in a way that Cass doesn't understand he has, and Cass doesn't get to see the results of her handiwork here, and probably hasn't given it a second thought since. But as we move into Faithless, and then as you'll see later on in the story, Vadric has owned this, and Vadric is the one character, because of the different separate world that he lives in, that I allow to be the sort of Joseph Campbell-esque hero with the burning sword when he gets to the point, because he's not like we have the Tantalus is much of a modern story. Everyone's weighed down by their angst and their problems. Everyone's complicated and everyone's motivations are mixed, and they're working through their problems. Vadric gets to be the simple hero eventually, because of this advice that he was given for 2 seconds that somebody wouldn't have thought about since, and because he lives in a world that needs simple heroes in that way.